Ah, hell. I'm in the wrong game again. Hello everyone, Nary here from Drakewing Gaming. Some of you know me on Twitter, The Gaming Drag, and today I'm coming at you with a new Let's Play series for Changeling Tale, Grace's Path. I had to think for a moment. I've just got a Changeling Tale, Grace's Path. I'm not going to be doing Jessie yet. I'm not doing Chapter 4 yet because they're going to be releasing an update, and Chapter 4 is getting a new intro. So I'm going to wait to continue Jessie's Path. As I understand it, Chapter 4 is going to be split up into two different parts, so we'll get the first part and the second part some other time. So, I'm going to pursue Grace this time, because I like me a silky girl. But, so, I've come to the first major decision. If you want to see what happens before all of that, then watch my first Changeling Tale video for Jessie's Path. It's called Changeling Tale number 1. That'll get you all caught up. And this is the first major decision we come to. So, anyway guys, sit back and enjoy and let me entertain you, and let's get right into it, shall we? Alrighty. Getting my voice. So Jessie has been singing, and you get the choice of either pursuing her, or like, what is this garbage? I'm like, what is this noise? Why this music is catching on with the city folk is beyond me. I order a second pint as the bizarre spectacle unfolds. It must be one of Bulgara's schemes, trying to turn Craig into the trendiest nightlife destination in the Highlands, or something. Almost as soon as the flappers finished her first dance, she's moved on to the next. A few old but fascinated men are starting to crowd around her, and I feel pity for this out-of-place girl. Whoever she doesn't belong out here in the country. Oh, how prophetic you are. Damn it, Jan, I just started! I stay out and watch until my thirst is slaked and my thoughts have steadied. Downing the rest of my pint, sated, I remind myself that I ought to be going. I work my way to the bar to settle my tab, but Bulgara refuses payment. I earned it, he says. Giving him my heartfelt thanks, I take one last look at the twirling red girl, wondering how someone like her found herself at a place like this. Then with a quick adjustment of my cap, I take my leave of the stag and nanny. Night has fallen as Hazel and I approach the old homestead. I feel a pinch of guilt at this late hour as I see a small silhouette framed against the open door. Gran is outside on the front steps, sweeping at almost nothing, yet dust still scatters about. She looks up at me and waves. I return the gesture, thankful my journey is over at long last. I'm sorry to have kept you waiting. Closer now, I can see she looks as tired as I feel, but there are tears of joy in her eyes.
Don't be sorry, Malcolm. It's enough that you are here. I never knew if I would see you again.
I dismount Hazel, who graciously allowed me to ride her back from town without bother. She nearly shakes free of my grasp. Gran helps rein in the mare and secure her to the house post.
A feisty one, isn't she? Oh, dearie, are these really all your things?
She weighs the small rucksack that had been slung across Hazel's back. Aye, they patted me on the back and sent me on the way without much more than the clothes on my back. But they're sharp clothes, are they not? I pat off the dust, straighten my collar and strike a goofy salute, but grandmother laughs. How are you, Gran? Dear Agnes responds with a loving embrace, much stronger than I imagined she could muster. Her limbs are so frail, but all muscle and sinew. Her head barely reaches my chest.
There's so little left here. To have you back is a miracle all to itself.
I stroke her head, her silken white hair as she weeps softly. I guess something was walking around on the roof. It's my pleasure. We hold each other for a little while longer, sharing in the profound feelings of relief and reunion. Then she ushers me inside.
Come in before you catch a cold.
My senses are overwhelmed by the sights, smells, and sounds of my childhood. A crackling fire, a bubbling pot of stew on the stove, and the simple decor of country living. Sure, a few stones have come loose, and holes are forming between the rafters, so I can see my future plans already. But by and large, nothing's changed, except how empty the nest has become. Gran, I'm sorry about Granddad. How have you been managing? She turns from the stove and waggles a ladle at me.
We'll have none of that tonight, young man. A weary traveller should not dwell on what's behind us.
Despite the nosh at the pub, I welcome the bowl of stew Gran places in front of me. It tastes even better than I remembered. She pours me a whiskey to down it all, and every part of me is warmed through.
Tonight you will sleep well, in a warm bed, every night now for as long as you want.
Let me save it right here. She laughs.
Even if that be after I leave this earth.
Gran! What a thing to say!
Ah, but it's true, it's a true thing. Something I realized after your mom and dad moved to the city and your grandfather passed. This life we have is finite. I cherish all of it now, as you must as well.
Good advice. It's as if she has been feeling around for my soul and knew where to look for it. She hit the right spot on the first try. Yes, I know all too well. If she could have mine, both of us tipsy from the food, the drink, and good company. Let's have this moment here. Grandmother pulls me close again and holds me the way Mum used to. I don't know if I could ever bear leaving the table. We laugh, we cry, we stay up late into the night.
And as evening turns to day, will I get a furry girlfriend today?
I wake up to the sound of a kettle coming to a boil. The sun is yet to fully rise, but I can smell the tea brewing and something fresh baked. Oh, gotta sneeze. Oh, God, sneezing is so much worse when you have a back injury. Oh, God. Okay. It's a challenge getting myself up out of bed. The goose down quilt, even with its bare threads, is so warm and comfortable. I've not slept so well since, well, the last time I slept here. This was my room growing up. It's hardly recognizable now. My old things have long since stowed who knows where. It's mostly empty save for some odds and ends. I finally wheel myself out from under the covers, throw on some proper clothes and head into the common room.
Good morning, young man. I have biscuits on the hearth and potted eggs on the table. Fresh cream in the pitcher, sugar cubes in the jar.
Thank you so much, Gran. I give her a good morning embrace, and she squeezes me tightly again, an impressive and gentle vice grip. When she steps back, she is suddenly all business.
Now, I've already fed Hazel her breakfast. Once the dishes are done, I'll go tend to the herd and clean the stable.
Gran, why don't you let me take care of all that? You don't need to run the farm all by yourself anymore. She sighs and shows her stubborn streak.
It's not in me to ask for help. Times are hard and everyone has enough to worry about already. I don't want to burden anyone. Not even you. If this farm becomes too much for us to handle, it's always an option to give it up, to sell and join your mother and father in the city.
Nonsense. This is your home. We'll make it work. So how about it? Sergeant Malcolm Campbell reporting for duty.
Well then, soldier, I suppose we could use some things for this week. Perhaps you might go to the market for me today.
It's a start. I wink and nod towards my breakfast. I better eat fast then if I am to beat the crowds. I chew and guzzle until the empty plate rattles and the cup and pot have not one drop left.
You're an angel, Malcolm.
Laughing, I stand up, shoulder an old overcoat of Grandad's and give Gran a peck on the forehead. Don't you forget it. I'll be back soon, Gran.
And this is where he meets a girl.
Oh, close enough. I set off across the meadow to the stable. My boots lose their footing a few times on the wet mud, the mist still settling in the air. Outside, the sun is crusting the hills across the loch. It is edged with pink, and I find myself muttering the ancient rhyme. Red sky at night, shepherd's delight. Red sky in the morning, shepherd's warning. Passing the herd, I can hear cuds chomping and droopy lips braying. Gran told me we hold 36 head of cattle, but from here I can only count 20 or so. Is there a count off, or was it just a wee bit of a reassurance through exaggeration? Opening the stable door is harder than I remember. I steel myself and try to get a grip on the damp wood. See me right here. Hazel! As the door slides open, I see Hazel standing impatiently in her stall. I'm reminded of the difficulty Gran and I had stabling her before we retired last night. Morning, my grumpy friend. How was your first night's stay at the Chateau de Campbell? snorts. Poor Hazel. Now in the light, I can see the drafty old stable is in much worse shape than the homestead. Sunlight beams through the countless holes in the rafters, patching the barn's roof, yet another chore to prioritize. No finer accommodations for miles! Ha ha! Don't worry, we'll take care of this place together. It'll be shipshape soon enough. Her head rolls dramatically as she flicks the mane off her eyes. She apparently isn't amused, but I can't help but laugh. Oh, come on now, it's not that bad. Now, let's get you hitched into the cart. It's market day today, and we've got a lot to pick up. Hazel nudges my chin with her velvety muzzle. I nestle into it, and my hands and arms reach instinctively to hold her cold head. I hold my creature, listen to her nick her onto my chest, watch billows of her breath float in the frigid air, and smell the damp hay in the stable. Then her head buckles up again, back in a plucky toss, nearly knocking me to the ground. So that's how it's going to be, eh, Miss Hazel? So be it. A strong woman has never bothered me. Get her treats at the market. Yep. Let's go meet the Selkie girl. I remember the drill manual was issued in its section on horse discipline. It worked well enough for all the good it did once we were dismounted and dug in. Those who act with inhumanity they obey reluctantly. Those who treat them well are always repaid by obedience and ready action. Alright, I get it. You still don't trust me. I'll tell you what. If you behave, maybe we can find you a special treat at the market. How does that sound? Hazel eyes me skeptically, but noticeably calms as I carefully fasten her saddle. Atta girl, that's more like it. Now, time to get on the road. God, it's beautiful. Hazel is none too thrilled about towing the small cart, but she only bucks a few times on the ride into town, so I consider it a success. The square is already bustling with activity when we arrive. It's the only market this side of the loch. People have flocked from all corners of the vale to stock up on supplies. The morning air is full of sounds of animal carts, women quibbling over prices, children fighting or screaming with delight, and old men drunk on early beers and life. I tie my mare to a post and dive into the fray. My first stop is the millinery booth, since I realize I don't have a proper hat to wear out in the public or in the fields. Glancing out at the milliner's wares, it suddenly dawns on me who is standing behind the cart. Oh, it's the hat girl. Oh, hello again.
Hi there.
What a pleasant surprise to see you again. She fidgets with the hat a bit, burrows her hands into her coat pockets and blushes. Yeah, I noticed she has the looks like the amulet from the main menu. Oh, I wonder what her role in all of this is. I just noticed that.
You as well? Are you looking to buy a hat?
I bet she's a fae. Yes, I was looking to get something sharp. Do you have any recommendations?
Well, the flat caps seem to be popular.
Comfortable?
I would say so.
What about the one you've got?
Oh, this was custom made.
It does fit you quite well. Her blush deepens even further.
Thanks. You know, you'd look good in the green one, I think. It matches your eyes.
Then that is the one for me. I try on the green wool cap, placing it right on top of my head.
It's a wonderful fit.
I have to agree. It's very comfortable. I hope it looks as good as it feels.
That it does.
I start fumbling around for some pocket change, and a few coins spill loose on the ground. It takes an effort to bend down and scoop them up. My back protests from yesterday's long ride. You know, I don't think I'd have a chance to properly introduce myself. My name's Malcolm. And the name's Murdoch. That's a right fine cap you picked up there. Yours for just 5 shillings. The gruff voice makes me jump. Standing and turning back to the stall, I see the girl's gone. In her place is an older gentleman. Hello. Yes, this'll be the one, please. I'd like to thank the girl who works here for a suggestion. As he pockets my coins, he scrunches his bearded face into a puzzled expression. Be begging your pardon, lad. What girl? She was right here just a moment ago. I gaze across into the pool of market-goers, and while I don't see the girl's hat bobbing among them, I do spot a few recognizable faces. A golden blonde with oval glasses stands out in the crowd. I believe it to be my childhood teacher, although she doesn't look a day older than I remember. Save it right here. Nope. Maybe not. Maybe do I save it right here? No, I don't save it right here. Save it later. Okay. You know what? Hell with it. I'll just save it right here. The cheesemonger, on the other hand, is just as old as I remember. His grizzled hands are barely strong enough to cut the wheel, and his eyebrows are so long I can't even fathom how he sees. And there is the withered boy hawking newspapers out of a woven basket. He has grown from a tiny young one into a sickly-looking boy. Poor lad. I'm hesitant to approach any of these folk from years past. Who's to say they know who I am anymore? I dare say I hardly know myself. But I see a young woman, arms piled high with groceries, clothed in assorted sundries, moving through the crowd with a purpose. Her arms tremble under the weight. Instinctively, I reach out to catch a sack of flour before it hits the ground.
Ah, I'm sorry.
Not a problem. I wouldn't want you to lose that. The teetering stack is stable again, for now. She manages to produce a smiling frown, ripe with humor, dismay, and impatience.
Thanks. I usually have help on market day, but my sisters decided to make themselves scarce today.
I am struck by the freckles unevenly distributed along her cheekbones. The dark green blouse she wears makes her red hair glow like the rising sun. She's grown, but her voice is unchanged. It's certainly her. It has to be. Marion? Marion McLeod? As soon as the question leaves my mouth, I fear I may have made her uncomfortable and surprised. Perhaps she does not recognize me. Noticing her inability to shake hands due to the overabundance of packages, I squirm, shake my head, and start to apologize. She straightens up, adjusts her goods, looks me dead in the eye, and extends one hand.
Hi, I'm Marion.
Her handshake is firm. She squints at me, perhaps because of the bright sun, then her face breaks into a smile.
Malcolm?
She sighs with relief.
You're home.
The wind blows across the familiar face, no longer that of the girl I knew through childhood, but of the woman she's become. She steps towards me, as if to offer an embrace, but is too bogged down with groceries to do anything but stare at me, wide-eyed. Her visage is warm and youthful, but her eyes have a maturity beyond their years. Back, and still in one piece, thankfully. How are you, your sisters?
Grace and Jessie. We are all still managing to make ends meet on the homestead.
We're still neighbors, then. And your parents? I catch myself. Your father? Her mother passed away when the girls were young. I should have remembered before I spoke.
Father is still away. He's overseas, serving as an officer. We're tending the place ourselves.
Your hands must be quite full with that. She laughs and shifts her weight again, obviously still struggling under the load.
In more ways than one. I had better get back to my errands before I drop anything else. It's so wonderful to see you again, Malcolm. Please, stop by our home anytime. All of us can catch up. It's been too long.
She nods a farewell and turns back toward the fray of the market. Get on with the day's errands. You too, Marion, and feel free to visit the farm anytime. She's already disappeared back into the crowd. My, how she has changed. I stop and think, and realize how much I've changed too. None of us made it through the last few years untouched. Trying times. Despite the hustle and bustle, the vendors' stands are noticeably diminished. I get what I can and make do for the rest. Building supplies, barns, stools, and a few other things for the pantry, and some clothes that do not smell like Granddad's closet. It all goes into the cart, much to Hazel's dismay. To make it up to her, and to fulfill my promise, I make one last stop by the grocer to pick up a healthy supply of treats. How's this as a reward for our hard day's work? Ah! Look at those eyes. Look at those eyes! Oh my god! I hold a sack of carrots up to Hazel. She sniffs at it and whinnies. I take one out and she pulls it from my hand greedily. So it seems what matters not above bribery. Progress. The sun is high and the market is finally winding down. Some people are packing their things, about to set off for their long treks home. Others are drifting into the Stag and Nanny to top off the tank before the journey. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Okay, we'll see if I see Grace, because I thought Grace was going to be here. Maybe I need to help her sister. Oh, I bet I need to help her sister. Hold up. Let's go back. Let's go back. Yes, okay. Seeing an old friend wrestling with all those unwieldy supplies breaks my heart. Say, Marion, do you want an extra set of hands for the day? She turns back around, perhaps caught genuinely surprised by the offer. Hope I'm not embarrassing myself or her. I have time to help you with your shopping if you need, seeing as your sisters aren't around to help you.
Really? That's very generous of you. I mean, if you're sure you're not in a rush, or needed somewhere else.
Of course. That's what good neighbors do.
Well, then, yes, thank you. It would help tremendously.
Once our goods are evenly distributed between us, we set off. We start at the cheesemonger, where Marion fills a sack with Bonchester wheels. I don't know how to say that. Devoidale wedges and crowdy curds. He hands us a large sample of fresh double cream kabok on warm oatcakes, much to my delight. The salty and sweet flavors burst in my mouth.
Tasty?
A few crumbs fall from my lips as I nod, and she laughs. It's been quite a few years since I've had anything that good.
Just wait till you try Flora's jam biscuits. Come on.
Oh, here we go, guys. Alarm Chan is letting me know that our time has come to end the video. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Let me save it right here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and ring that notification bell to the next video. I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!